Hello, dear friends. This is quite an unusual format today. We are in a way further from each other, but I hope that we are actually getting closer. Hello once again, and today it's the 21st of October 2020, and the time is 2 minutes past 12. So I would like to begin with congratulations. I want to congratulate all of us because this year we are celebrating the 10th anniversary Cross-Border Cooperation Days, Russian-Norwegian Cross-Border Cooperation Days. In those 10 years we have learned to listen to each other, and we began to understand each other and to look together for solutions for some problems. But life goes on, and as you can see, it gives us some new challenges, and one of the challenges, I think it's global for the whole humanity, is the coronavirus pandemic. It has touched all the states, both Russia and Norway. Temporarily the borders are closed, but I think that this situation today will let us feel how important the cooperation is, how important it is to be together and to overcome all those challenges and all these difficult life situations. But I'm sure that we will get through this together. So after all these words, I would like to say a few words about just technical details. Our plenary session, Cross-Border Cooperation Days, Challenges and Possibilities. It is held in an online and offline form. We have some of the speakers here, and some of the speakers will connect with us via Zoom. And due to these telecommunication technologies, we will be able to link our regions together. So for the speakers, please choose the right channel, and when you speak, please remember to switch on the mic when you are speaking and switch it off when you are not speaking. And also, as to the speakers who are here in our room and to our foreign partners on different sides of the border, I totally understand that we miss each other so much and we want to talk to each other and hug each other and talk and talk and talk. But unfortunately, everybody wants to talk, but the time is limited. So please follow the timing. Welcoming words from the governor of Murmansk region, Andrei Vladimirovich Chibis.
Дорогие друзья, с удовольствием приветствую всех участников пленарного заседания российско-норвежского приграничного сотрудничества. В этом году это юбилейное 10-е мероприятие. К сожалению, не могу присутствовать на нем лично, так как в эти минуты работаю с председателем правительства Российской Федерации Михаилом Владимировичем Мишустиным, который находится в Мурманской области. Конечно, очень важно, что этот форум, юбилейный форум, проходит в те даты, когда мы отмечаем 76-летие освобождения Заполярья от фашистских захватчиков. И народы по обе стороны границы чтят тех героев, которые отдали свои жизни за свободу от фашистов. И это очень важно для всех нас. Пандемия делает свое дело, и многие мероприятия мы вынуждены были перевести в онлайн-режим. Но это не останавливает наше сотрудничество, наоборот. Те вызовы, которые дал миру коронавирус, позволяют нам найти новые ниши для совместного сотрудничества, увидеть новые возможности для развития наших экономических отношений. Так, например, уже стала регулярная встреча губернаторов Баренц-региона, где мы обсуждаем самые актуальные проблемы и борьбы с пандемией, и развития экономики в нынешних условиях. Я убежден, что этот разговор, который начинается сегодня, станет плодотворным и эффективным, а в самое ближайшее время мы сможем перевести опять наше общение на личный формат. Несмотря на пандемию, наши отношения не разрушаются, а крепнут, и Норвегия остается ключевым международным партнером для нашей Мурманской области. Я всем желаю удачной, успешной, эффективной работы и, конечно же, здоровья вам и вашим близким. Удачи и успехов!
Thank you so much. Here I think applause should be in order. At least applause are not limited during the pandemic. So I think the governor has mentioned some key words during his presentation, that this is the anniversary year. Despite all the events that are happening now, Norway and Russia remain key partners, and historical friendly relations in the north are maintaining and developing. So it's very nice for us that for all those 10 years, cross-border cooperation has been supported both by the legislative and executive authorities. So I would like to give the floor to Natalia Nikolaevna Vedisheva from Murmansk Duma. Please, the floor is yours. Our regional parliament puts a lot of attention to cooperation with foreign colleagues since the moment of its establishment, that is for more than 25 years. And friendship of Murmansk region with the northern territories of Norway has been going on from 1988, when the first cooperation agreement has been signed with Finnmark County. We know how important it is to develop our cooperation with the parliamentarians, and one of the missions of the Committee of the Parliamentary Association of the Northwest that I'm the head of is the development of international cooperation and participation of parliamentarians of the Northwest in participation at different international forums, such as meetings of the Nordic Council, Barents Regional Council, Parliamentary Forum of the Northern Dimension, conferences of the Baltic Sea and Barents region, and also representatives of our association have the status of observers at the meetings of the Barents Regional Council. So during the last years, the official contact has been limited, but we are still ready to participate in online discussions on all the forums of interparliamentary forums in the North Europe. Special attention I would like to draw to our close cooperation with our Norwegian colleagues that concerns different projects such as infrastructure, environmental, including increasing radioactive and nuclear safety, and also in the field of culture, education, and the health spheres. One of the important directions of our cooperation is work with strengthening historical memory. The memory about the 75 years anniversary of the defeat of German Nazi in the Kola North and liberation of East Finnmark, which were held last year on both sides of the border. And this year it was not possible to arrange traditional common activities, but I'm sure that we will always remember and cherish the memories of the fallen Soviet soldiers and Norwegian patriots. I think we can say that the pandemic has become a test of us and our joint projects, but I'm sure that we will overcome all the difficulties. We could cooperate in the constructive way in the past and even in more complicated situations than previously, when ideological barriers were dividing us. And now today, in the situation when each state wants to isolate from external communications, probably it's the right way to go if you take care of your citizens. But we should also understand that the longer the time of alienation is, the more problems we will get. Each state takes its own anti-crisis measures, trying to develop antivirus vaccines and medical drugs to prevent or cure the disease. And what is not permissible today, it is to give disinformation about the achievements of medical achievements to other states. I think differences in evaluations of various political situations to live in peace. There is no alternative to dialogue. We need to meet, we need to exchange our opinions, to learn to listen to each other. In this way, we will be able to find solutions to our common problems, which do not have any national borders. We are open for dialogue and cooperation. And in the end of my presentation, I would like to thank the organizers of the Days of Russian-Norwegian Cooperation for inviting me and providing me the opportunity to make this presentation. I wish all the participants of Cross-Border Cooperation Days to have fruitful work, and let's stay in touch. Thank you so much, Natalia, for great words. I believe that people-to-people diplomacy should support all the efforts so that we will not lose those connections that we have established in the previous years. So now, dear friends, I would like us to go to Norway. And I would like to give the floor to Vice Head of the Troms and Firman County Administration, Mr. Terry Jensenbeck. He is with us on Zoom. So if you can hear us, so greetings from Murmansk, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dear neighbors, many thanks for inviting us. A year ago, I welcomed you in person in Nikel, and look what a year this has been. It's very sad that we are not able to meet face to face, but on the other side, I would like to thank you for your vitality, for your strength, that you've managed to find alternative ways to keep in touch. And of course, I would love to be in Nikel, but in any way, I am thankful that I have the chance to see you on screen. So, compared to the last year, there were some changes in my region. As you know, Troms and Firman regions were forcefully married to each other, but such forced marriages are not to be approved. But I think that next year, next autumn, we are going to have elections, and as I am from the Labour Party, and my party says that in case we win, we will cancel this this fusion of the counties, and the fusion of this process will in no way influence our cooperation with Russia, our long and our neighboring region. We would like to also congratulate you on your successes on the liberation of Finnmark and withdrawing German troops, and thank you for our liberation for 75 years ago. This year is the year of 10 years of anniversary of Cross-Border Cooperation Days, and it's a proof of what kind of success and how important these meetings are. Between our capitals, there are some cold winds blowing, and the coronavirus has become one of the stops also. So thousands of people, young and old, lost forums to meet in the field of culture, sports, and people-to-people contact. So it's still very important to continue to search for new ways to meet. So together we are developing, and together we are getting stronger. So I can tell you in brief about the situation with the coronavirus. Except for our biggest city and the Hammerfest, the Troms and Finnmark County, we are quite lucky. We have very few coronavirus cases, just some cases. And our neighbors, Nordland County, they have the lowest number of cases in the entire Norway. But rapid growth of coronavirus cases would be very negative for our health system that is not ready to tackle the big numbers. So now we do not know how the pandemic has influenced the economy. But the numbers that we are seeing, for example, from the tourism branch, they show that the number that it's quite sad. Lots of people have been fired, and we get more and more information about new people fired. The marine industry and other sectors depending on the logistics for exports, they also have serious challenges. One of them is, for example, Hortirutan, our coastal liner. As a result of the coronavirus situations, only 2 of the liners out of 11 liners are operating now, and for many coastal communities, it's the main possibility to transport people and cargo, and that's why very important, lots of workplaces go missing, and the number of cargo on the roads also increases. That also creates some other concerns. And also, I would like to wish you a successful meeting, and thank you for inviting me once again. And let the days of cross-border cooperation, let them continue for many, many years to come. There are very good and friendly and partner relations, and of course it's a very important work done by our diplomats. And Murmansk and Kirkenes in this field, in this sphere, is a very, very good example, because both in Murmansk and in Kirkenes we have general consulates. So, yes, please, Nikolai, the floor is yours. Hello. It's a great honor for me to participate in this cross-border cooperation days. This is a unique region. It is linked by the common history. We have a huge potential for development of cooperation in many fields, such as culture, education, fisheries, management of our resources, rescue, economical project, business projects. We have it all, and the coronavirus has influenced, has done some impact on all our activities, and we can find new ways of work, new ways to solve the issues, because that is what we do. We have a large experience of agreements that can be the ground for peaceful coexistence in the regions, and the work that is, that is the basis for business projects. Because solutions that are good for both sides, they are most stable. And but I would not talk too much about the consulate part of work, because we can discuss it during the consulate hour. I can only mention that starting from February, Russia is starting issuing electronic visas that can be issued online for touristic, humanitarian, business, and other purposes. So you don't need any documents to confirm the purpose of your visas. The consulate fee, the visa fee is 40 euro, and children under 6 years can get visa free. So we are sure that that will contribute to increasing the number of visits of people coming to Russia. I think it's very positive, the work that is done in the memorial field. I'm very thankful to Norway for taking care of the monuments and memorial signs to the liberation of the northern Norway and the places of former concentration camps. For example, a few years recently, I have been participating in the opening of memorial sign in Alta, where our prisoners of war were working. It's a stairs that was built by them, and the project was about cleaning the stairs, and there was set a memorial sign. It was done by school students from Murmansk and Alta, so they did it together. They put the memory plates there. So in a way, they are as old as many of the prisoners were at the time. And such projects, they allow to transfer the knowledge about what happened during those days to new generations, and I think it's very important. And this is the basis for that it should never happen again. On the other side, I would like to draw your attention to another project. It's a few years already, 5 years ago. Due to cooperation of several sites, in their archives they found the coordinates where the plane of Frantsev, who was the hero of the Soviet Union, who died during the liberation of Norway from Nazis. Unfortunately, we could not check what's the condition of the plane is now, or if it's possible to take it up. But I think that as soon as the situation with the coronavirus allows us, we will be able to go to the sea, because the plane has fallen down to the sea, and we will be able to provide some works, of course with cooperation and support from the Norwegian authorities and with the permissions from them, to find the exact location where the plane fell down, and to continue the work. As to the business projects, I would like to say that despite the thing that large Norwegian businesses are not present in the Murmansk region now, during the time of their work they managed to earn quite a lot of capital, and the region is characterized by developed infrastructure, by fragile environment, by industrial activities, transport accessibility, and all that is important to keep, because it allows us to cooperate in a constructive way and to solve the challenges that we are getting. The borders that we have now, it unites us. It allows us to cooperate and to solve the challenges that we are having. It allows us to keep contact, to develop the dialogue. And I believe such meetings, such online meetings, and in the future, if we could get offline meetings, direct communication, they would really contribute to the further development and should be continued in all possible forms and forums. So I would like to thank Nikolai for this interesting presentation and about the projects that you mentioned, both in the field of humanitarian cooperation and in the field of business cooperation. And now we will go back to Murmansk, but not to this room. We will go to the Consulate of Norway, and we have online the General Council of Norway and Murmansk, Astrid Nærum. So yes, please give us. Yes, I'm very glad to participate in this event. Dear friends, in 2008, our foreign ministers signed the agreement on cooperation between twin cities Kirkenes and Nikel. So then it was the idea of cross-border Russian-Norwegian cooperation days. So this year we are having the anniversary 10th cross-border cooperation days, and this is the first time we have it in an online format. So for many months our countries, together with the rest of the world, have been fighting with the coronavirus pandemic and the consequences of it for the health and economy of the countries. It has been a year since Norway became the chair of the Barents Euro-Arctic Council for 2019-2021. The Norwegian chairmanship has a motto of strong and resilient Barents region. The key words here are health, people-to-people diplomacy, and knowledge. Also, a lot of attention is paid to environment, indigenous peoples, development of infrastructure, search and rescue operations, and safety. According to the strategy of the northern region during the chairmanship, a lot of attention is paid to the efficient cooperation with the northern areas and Sami parliaments. To implement the cooperations, the cooperation is implemented on two ways: state level, the Barents Region, Barents Euro-Arctic Council, and Barents Regional Council, that are the unique structure by itself. Our cooperation has also been damaged by the pandemic, but despite the situation, it's important that we continue working together to strengthen and develop our cooperation in the Barents region. Norway has taken measures to keep and develop the cooperation with Russia in the north by different kinds of joint projects. Cooperation between the authorities and cooperation on the regional forums. We allocate over 200 million of Norwegian crowns to develop cooperation in various projects. And I would like to say a few words about visas. Citizens of Russian Federation are still one of the largest groups of applicants of Norwegian visas. In 2019, the Embassy of Norway in Moscow provided 23,000 visas. That is 2% higher compared to 2018. 73% of Schengen visas are multiple visas. 99% of all applications are granted. And according to the information from Storskog border passing point, there were 267,000 crossings. That is a large number than in 2018. But now, unfortunately, the issuing of visas is suspended except for certain categories of citizens. Both Norway and Russia want the northern regions to develop and to prosper. A lot of things are done on both sides of the border. Northern region are important responsibility area for our government. In autumn this year, we are going to publish a new report on the northern areas. Since the last report has been published, it has been almost 10 years, so there were a lot of changes. But what does not change is the most important thing. Northern regions have a great potential for development and are very important for the development of the entire region, for the entire country. So, northern strategy of Norway allows us to build, to provide Norwegian interest in the north and to strengthen strong and sustainable region. We want to create good perspectives for the young people in the north. And as the work on this report is going on, the budget project of Norway for 2021 includes large investments for the development of the northern territories, including infrastructure, emergency preparedness, protection of environment, and prevention of climate changes, business development, and creating new working places. And young people, investments and future in the north. It's important to create conditions for education, getting houses, entrepreneurship, free time activities. It's important to strengthen the desire of people to live in the north. We want to stop the outflow of the young people from the north. So the policy of Norway in the north is very similar to the motto of the government of Murmansk region, live in the north. So that's why we are very interested to look at the changes happening on the other side of the border. In Pechinga district, the economical changes are happening very actively. New companies are created in the border territory. The tourism is development and the marine sector is development, and new small and medium business companies are appearing. That creates new perspectives for cooperation. Border economic connections are very important for us. The Council General of Norway and Murmansk works with development business in the north of Russia. But during the pandemic, lots of projects has been stopped or slowed down. So one of the consequences of the pandemic became that many companies started doing their business online. But digital solutions nowadays are the only solution to continue our cooperation and to maintain both economic and people-to-people diplomacy. Let me finish my presentation by the quote from the Ministry of Finance of Norway. The faster we understand how important it is to keep the epidemic sanitary and the epidemic rules, the sooner it gets back to normal. And I would like to add that the sooner we get back to our normal lifestyle, we can overcome those challenges together. And the key word here is together. Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to give the floor to the Minister of Economic Development of Murmansk region, Tatiana Ruskova. Please, the floor is yours. Hello, dear colleagues and partners and friends. We are so glad to welcome you to this conference. This year, the Cross-Border Cooperation Days are held for the 10th anniversary time. It's quite an age for an event. I believe it is confirmed how important this event, how useful this event is. A lot of things has been said about our cooperation and the perspectives that it gives us. Also in the field of economic opportunities and challenges that we have this year. So we would like to prepare a very intensive and diverse program that reflects the broad spectrum of our cooperation, from the economy to youth policy, the questions of history. And I would like to notice that despite the pandemic of the coronavirus, it has not managed to damage our relations, because we have almost the same turnover with Norway as the previous year. So we are still open for cooperation with our Norwegian partners in any kind of format. We believe that we can make life in the north comfortable and attractive. And we have a lot of common and the solutions that we are looking for. It would be very interesting, not only in Murmansk region, but also in Norway. To reach this goal, we can use a broad variety of tools of cross-border cooperation. That is, due to our cooperation, that will be strengthening and getting more and more unique. I wish all of you productive work, useful discussions during the 10th Cross-Border Cooperation Days, and please stay healthy. Thank you so much, Tatiana, and especially many thanks for your wishes to stay healthy. We wish all you and all the participants to stay healthy. And we say that cross-border cooperation days, Russian-Norwegian cooperation days. I think the word cross-border, when we say cross-border, we mean the people who are near the border and who are the first ones to be on the line. So I would like to give the floor to the head of the administration of Pechinga district, Eduard Zatonov. Hello, dear participants of the plenary session, dear colleagues, dear friends. The anniversary 10th Cross-Border Cooperation Days are held in this special, very unusual format. And it's a pity that we cannot see each other in person, but we are happy that the tradition of arranging those days, it goes on. And this is the most important. So today it's very important to keep in touch, to keep contact, not to wait till the borders are open, but to continue our cooperation and communication in all the ways possible. And due to these digital technologies, we can actually manage it. If we analyze the cooperation that we were having this year, I would like to say a few words about our first meeting. That was a meeting on the 21st of January this year. It was in the administration of Pechinga district. It was the first meeting for the development of cooperation plan between Pechinga district and Sør-Varanger municipality for 2021. So from Russia, there were heads of municipalities, representatives of Murmansk Regional Duma, the Ministry of Fishing Industry and Development of Business of Murmansk Region, the Murmansk Region Development Corporation, Kolskaya Coal Mining Company, and also companies working in the border region. From the Norwegian delegation, in addition to Sør-Varanger municipality representatives, there were some representatives from Shirkinas development companies and the Norwegian Barents Secretariat. The meeting was held in a very constructive way. We discussed the issues of economic cooperation, and also we had representatives from Oral Grill company and Siberia's company that plan to work on our territory. So those two companies contributed with a more business-like approach, because we spoke about concrete things, and that was also noticed by the Norwegian partners. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we did not manage to arrange some meetings that were planned after this meeting. So today we are having this initiative to arrange a business seminar online for Russian and Norwegian businesses. It will be held tomorrow at 9:30 Russian time on Zoom. So everyone is invited to take part. Because we believe this seminar is a logical continuation of our January meeting, and we hope that it will contribute to strengthening direct contacts between Norwegian and Russian businessmen. I would like to add that it's important to activate cross-municipal cooperation using online format. For example, I would like to suggest to have a meeting of 3 cross-border municipalities, Plenary, Sør-Varanger and Pechinga, and to have such meeting online and to discuss cooperation in the new conditions. At the end of my presentation, I would like to stress that today we have the same challenges, and it's easier to solve those challenges together by sharing the experience and supporting each other in all aspects. So I would like to wish to all the participants of cross-border cooperation days to have productive work, interesting discussions, and good health and strong immunity. So take care of yourself and your family. Thank you so much. Eduard, maybe you cannot hear me, but I hope you can see me. I think we will start talking with gestures. The most important is that we will understand each other anyway. So thank you so much for your wishes of good health. And now I would like to give the floor to the acting mayor of Sør-Varanger municipality, Paul Gabrielsen. So we are back to Norway. Mr. Gabrielsen.
First of all, I thank you for the invitation to attend and contribute to this plenary session. Regarding the issue included in this session, I want to inform about the status and my thoughts for possibilities regarding business.
I would like to share my thoughts about the possibilities of development of entrepreneurship. We have been for tens of years developing our cooperation on personal level, person-to-person level. And such cooperation is based on trust and good results that we have already achieved from other projects, despite certain challenges that we're getting. And one of the issues is cross Schengen border crossing. And this challenge is solved by both sides. To have perfect cooperation, we need to have stable communication channels. Before the pandemic, the solution was simple: you could come and visit. But now we are solving these challenges in an online and a digital way. It creates new challenges, but we managed to transfer our communication to a new level. And what is important is to understand that communication is a platform for development of social and economic development and friendship. That is also very important. After the bankruptcy of Söderanger mine in 2016, we came to certain challenges that subcontractors of this company, of the mining sphere, had, and we had 60 million Norwegian crowns from the government to create new workplaces, 300 new workplaces in our region. And in the beginning of the year, the results were very good. Everything went according to the plan, especially in the field of tourism, but as you know, everything suddenly changed in March. And it led to a total stop of tourism and stop almost to zero of visits to Söderanger from Russia, because people were coming for different reasons, but the pandemic has also damaged the municipality as well, on all levels. And we should look into new possibilities for business and create new possibilities to continue the project that we have started. We need to create new possibilities to restore our communities and bring it back to normal life. It is important to think about our geographic position that gives us new possibilities for new business ideas. And we believe that the situation is similar on the Russian side, and we say that the business potential on the national level and on the local level should be taken into account. Barents Secretariat is and the Söderanger municipality and other organizations are participating in this work, and it's important to develop new mechanisms and to consider the ongoing situation in our region. We should find new ways and new resources in the economic field, and not only on the field of projects, but also on the level of their practical implementation. Regarding the platform for gaining good cooperation and day-to-day communication, it's important to have exchange of experience and create forums where people could meet. Public and private partnerships could be established to ensure stability and foreseeable conditions for potential projects. And in the near future, we should consider also logistical and infrastructural solutions to facilitate implementation of such projects. That includes roads, shipping routes, railroads. Probably we could think about railroad connection between Kirkenes and Nikel. We are looking on creating such conditions from both sides of the border. These are the ideas that could be troubling, but we should think in a non-standard way to get these challenges. We are creating physical and digital meetings, but the most important is development of business. We need to have possibilities for closer cooperation that will include both sides with a clear understanding of future development of business. As my contribution to this session, I would like to finish with the word trust. We see that everything is falling down without trust, but trust is something we can build on. In public and private partnership, the trust is important. It will help us to reach our common goals. We are waiting for the possibility to celebrate the next year of liberation of east of Finnmark, the 25th of October. We will cherish the memories to show our thankfulness. Thank you, Paul Gabrielsen. Let's applause to a very good presentation and to the key word trust. I think that trust is something that we have on both sides, and that the tasks set for us on both sides of the border, they will be achieved. So this is the end of all the welcome words, and we are following the program, and we would go over to the second part of our plenary meeting. And I would ask all the participants to stick to the timing. We have set up to 7 minutes, so that we maybe have some minutes for the discussions and questions. So I would like to give the floor to Alexei Ivanov, the head of regional cooperation of the Second European Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russian Federation. He will join us on Zoom. So please, Alexei, the floor is yours. Hello, dear colleagues. I hope you can hear Moscow from Murmansk well. First of all, let me thank the organizers of today's meeting, the government of Murmansk region, for providing me an opportunity to present the Second European Department of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Russia at the meeting of Russian-Norwegian cross-border cooperation days. Russia and Norway, as key countries of the Barents region and as good neighbors, are the driver of Barents cooperation that Mrs. Nerum has already mentioned today. So we have a rich historical experience of Russian-Norwegian relations, so-called Pamor trade and other kinds of cooperation. Our countries were in the beginning of the establishment of the Barents-Euro-Arctic region in 1993 in Kirkenes. We can say that the Council has reached its goals and became an efficient and dynamic form of international cooperation that generates a very large cooperation agenda. So the Council mobilizes a large potential for ensuring sustainable economic development of the Barents region. During the turbulence period, international turbulence, the interregional cooperation is an important channel for dialogue with our partners. It allows to discuss the questions in a constructive way. The Council is one of the most successful formats of cooperation in the north of Europe that, in addition, shows strong immunity to the fluctuations of political situation. This is the only regional organization in the European region where the cooperation develops as business as usual. It also shows very good traditions of good neighborship and cooperation that developed in the Barents region, and also a high level of cross-border cooperation, and unraveled in Europe a unique two-level structure of Barents cooperation that allows to define the prospective projects and to combine the interests of states with the interests and priorities of several of the regions. I would like to mention very good and neighborly relations that we had between Murmansk region and Norway, Troms and Finnmark in Norway, where the two oldest cities or towns, Vardø and Hammerfest, were founded thanks to the trade with Russia. Of course, in today's complicated situations, is very special for the Barents region. It's clear that during the shutdown of borders and the economic decline, our relations are tested, but all the processes are speeding up during the crisis. So things that became obsolete, they disappear faster, but things that have good perspectives, they will develop quicker during this economic situation. And in this field, the development of regional cooperation grows stronger. Due to the pandemic restrictions, the cooperation continues in all key directions of the work of the Council of Barents Euro-Arctic region. Due to good coordination, we can react to the challenges, and we can even talk about intensification of our relations. And it shows a large number of events within the Barents cooperation that are had online. We have a new dimension of cooperation in the health field. Before the pandemic, Norway has also chosen this as one of the chairmanship priorities. And we really appreciate the work carried out here in the field of joint working group on health and related social issues. It is very important that we have the initiative of the Murmansk region to discuss the joint measures on prevention the pandemic that has been implemented as 2 video conferences on the theme Barents region against coronavirus that were held under the chairmanship of the government of the region. We would like to say about the importance of telemedicine. A good example of cooperation here is the functioning in Arkhangelsk and Nenets autonomous area Russian-Norwegian telemedicine centers. We totally share the other priorities of the Norwegian chairmanship, and we are sure that the sustainable economic development and creating comfortable conditions for people living in the north should still continue to be the focus of our cooperation in the high north. We believe it's important to continue the work on elimination of environmental hotspots in the north of Russia. This is the theme of the focus of our Norwegian colleagues. The work goes on. We would like this work to go faster, but of course it has some technical and bureaucratical challenges, but still we can clearly see the progress, because out of the initial list of 42 hotspots, 16 such hotspots have already been eliminated from the list. So a good help would be if we could create our own financial mechanism. We are thankful to the Norwegian chairmanship of the Barents region for starting the work on creation the financial mechanism for the Barents region. I would like to remind that Russia has been also in the founding period of this work. It's very special that during the crisis, when the funding in other project is minimized, our Barents partners are continuing the work, and we are sure that the creation of such fund will create possibilities for stable development of our cooperation in the post-coronavirus period. I would like to wish all the success for the cooperation days, and we hope that the coming events will give a new push to the development of international cooperation in the Northern Europe in these complicated conditions. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much, Alexei. And this is a great thing that you mentioned in your speech, not only the situation that we have today, but also mentioned something about the future, about things that are done now, and that we are thinking about the post-COVID period, so that it will be over sooner or later, and we need to think about how we would cooperate in the future. Now, I would like to give the floor to a person who has been working with the concrete projects for many years in the field of Russian-Norwegian cooperation. We have Lars Georg Fordal, the head of the Norwegian Barents Secretariat. Many participants know him very well because Barents Secretariat is supporting lots of projects from both sides, and we can use a lot of time mentioning those projects. We can only mention Barents spectacle. So we would like to hear you, Lars. So, yeah. Дорогие соседи, dear neighbors, I can't be in Murmansk now, but I hope you can hear me, and that's fine too. Thank you for the invitation today. Thank you to Murmansk government and Pechinga district for this initiative. It's good that we actually can celebrate 10 years of our meetings. And even coronavirus and some challenges cannot stop us, and they cannot prevent us from communication, which is very good. But the situation today is very serious. Both in Norway and in Russia, coronavirus is a serious challenge. The doctors are fighting as good as they can, and it has already been mentioned that what kind of post-COVID situation will there be? We should solve a lot of problems, including economical situation in both in Norway and in Russia. It will require new possibilities, and I suggest that we all ask ourselves, after the coronavirus crisis, what will we do to create new possibilities and new business environment, new working places in the borderlands? How can we invite people to move to the Barents region and not move out of the Barents region? I hope that we can cooperate in this field, and that we can ask ourselves those questions, that we can work together and think what would we do to develop and to create more opportunities in our northern regions. The traditional solution here would be to develop the infrastructure, to start new large-scale projects and large-scale investments, but we cannot just dream about large-scale projects, just sit and wait for the money to come, for the money from the capitals to come. Of course we can, but we can also do something while we are waiting. I think all of us should concentrate on creating value for ourselves, to develop, to think in new ways. And I think that we can look at the things that we already have, because what we have here is something unique. Let's just have a look at our border. I think that Russian-Norwegian border can be a great resource. At least it can be used more than it happens now. You know that in Norway, the tourists are coming, and they are just coming to take pictures with the Norwegian border, Russian-Norwegian border, but they cannot cross it. But since the next year, after the coronavirus situation has come down, of course, and we hope it will happen, there will be electronic visas to Russia, and paper borders will be less complicated. So more people will be able to cross the borders, and for tourists and for other guests, it will be easier to come to Russia. And maybe it will be in cooperation between Russian and Norwegian companies. I think we should concentrate on concrete possibilities that we can have here. For example, transportation, transport services over the border. For example, now we already have some charging stations for electric cars in Chirkinas and Zapolyarny. We have already spoken with some partners, and we would like to see electrical bus, like shuttle bus, between Chirkinas, Nikel, and Zapolyarny. That will be a daily commute to facilitate the transportation for local people and for the tourists. These electrical shuttles or buses, they are already available. You can buy them or you can lease them in Norway. And the costs are basically zero, so we don't need to build large infrastructure. So in the long run, we can get this infrastructure, but we can try to have this regular cross-border transportation. We want to find cooperation partners, and we have Bellona. That is a Norwegian organization that already is represented in Murmansk, and they already have an agreement of intentions to develop the infrastructure of electrical transport in the region. We would like to see concrete examples of these projects. We see the possibilities just in front of us, and we have very positive expectations from all the partners. I believe they should continue to meet, to communicate, and to discuss the innovations in education and the development of local communities. I believe that Barents Euro-Arctic Council and the Regional Council and the working groups in the Council, they should also draw also some use from the post-COVID situation. So I hope I see you back very soon, and we'll talk about the development of cross-border regions together. Thank you. It was nice to meet you. Thank you so much, Lars. And in your presentation, there were lots of interesting things. I think we have noted them already. So it's a fantastic idea. And we are kind of looking into the future, because this situation will be solved sooner or later, and we should be moving ahead. We should not stop. So I would like to give the floor to Alexander Anikin, representative of Russian Federation in Norway, and he will talk about the perspectives of the cooperation of Norway and Russia in the north. So, greetings from Murmansk. Thank you very much for. It's very nice to see my Norwegian friends that we are keeping very good contact with, and that we will hear presentations from, and that we will have already had presentations from. So I would like to greet all of you and to thank you for the invitation to speak on this anniversary event. Now, as you know, it's a hot time for online arrangements that are very in demand during all this restrictions period. And today, this kind of format allows us to move on in many aspects and develop our international cooperation on all fields. In the beginning of my presentation, I would like to give some comments about the economical situation in Norway, that in the last 10 years has shown a very positive trend in development. Since 2010, the GDP of Norway has grown by 1.2%, and the total amount of it has overcome $400 billion. The GDP per person is $75,000, and the inflation rate is 2.5%, and the unemployment is 3 point something percent, and the Population of Norway is 4.5 million people. It's hard to talk about the results of 2020. We will probably see some negative influence from the coronavirus because the inflation rate now is, according to some unofficial estimates, about 5%, and the unemployment rate has gone over 7%. But I hope that in the end of the year these numbers will go down somehow and that Norway will go back to the good numbers again. So, talking about the Norwegian economy, we should notice that the country has the largest on capitalization national savings fund. That unofficial name of it is the oil fund. The capitalization is over 1 billion US dollars, and some money of this fund are actively invested, for example, into the Russian economy. In 2019, the growth of investments into the shares of Russian companies it's gone up by 30%. So now they have the shares of approximately 50 Russian companies with a total amount of 3.5 million US dollars. So the external trade turnover of Norway has gone down by 3%, and is a result during the last 8 months compared to the 8 months of 2019, it has gone down by 34%. But the structure of this turnover is approximately the same. The main partners of Norway are the European countries, Germany, Sweden, and the Netherlands. Before the Brexit, so Great Britain or the UK had some important role, but now there are some negotiations between them, Norway and the UK, and probably they will achieve some agreement on some preferences. So the turnover between Norway and the UK will be approximately the same. As to the decrease of the GDP of Norway during the period from March to May 2020, it has been approximately 7.5%. Also, the decline of the general turnover with the partners is linked to the decline of the prices of export of oil and gas and decline in car import. In 2019, Russia was on the 17th place in the turnover, and in 2020, the turnover has declined. Compared with the same period of 2019, it has declined by 34%. Russian export to Norway has gone down by 38% and is approximately $860 million. And Russian import from Norway has gone down by 12%. And the structure of export and import in January-August of 2020 compared to 2019 has not changed. Still, we believe there is a huge potential for future diversification and increase of mutual investment. We have relatively good conditions to increase Russian export to Norway on a broad variety of goods, such as, for example, industrial, agricultural goods and food products. In Russia nowadays we have very active support. The government supports the companies providing exports of their products. They are actively developing certification of Russian products to the European market and also provide financial support to Russian companies participating in some activities, exhibitions, fairs in Norway and so on. There is a huge interest to Russian building materials because of their prices compared to the European products. Russian companies have very good possibilities for such export because they use the modern equipment, and the certification is not one of the top questions now. So Russian pharmaceutical companies are also ready to cooperate with the Norwegian colleagues. In case there is an interest from the Norwegian side, Russian companies can provide exports of the individual protection equipment and other things necessary to fight coronavirus. We have already sent a proposition to the Norwegian side, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and to the Ministry of Trade and Fisheries of Norway. And this proposition includes humanitarian challenge issues, for example, in this case. I can surely say that we are actively working with the development of certification of products and building international logistical networks. In addition to the trade, there is a large potential for industrial development, localization of production in Russian territory, and creation of joint Russian-Norwegian companies. We have special investment contracts and special fund to support the industry. At the same time, I would like to mention that yesterday there was a meeting of the government where they discussed the issue of development of special economic zones and the territories of advanced economic development. Today there are about 55 such zones, and today all the necessary administrative advantages are created for foreign investors, including, of course, Norwegian investors and Norwegian companies. According to our estimate, the most interesting branches are aquaculture and shipbuilding. I would like to notice that the government of Russian Federation does not minimize their work on the improvement of the investment climate in the country in the field of support of local producers. We have actually developed and are improving a broad variety of measures on support of small and medium business companies, and that can be carried out due to the creation of joint ventures that would allow to minimize the taxes and create and export companies export the products from Russia to Norway. I'm very thankful to the speakers who today noted the importance of creating measures on development cross-border cooperation. And I would like to thank Lars Fordal, the head of the Norwegian Foreign Secretariat, for his idea to create a special logistical network between Kirkenes and the nearest areas. I think Murmansk could also be included there. And I would like to inform the participants that, for example, in some region of Russia, they have already created a small electric vehicle that is corresponding to smart vehicle. So now we could use it as a car sharing and use this kind of logistical network where such small vehicles could be moving on the road of Kirkenes and Murmansk region, and also to work for increasing the tourist flow. I think that this car that will be built in Adygea in 2021, it will be in production already, and we will see this kind of vehicles used in Norway too. And we will contribute to this kind of work. Also, I would like to say that the sales mission is also promoting Russian products like the disinfection tunnels that are already certified according to all standards and requirements of the European Council. and all Norwegian companies or state authorities could be interested in purchasing this kind of disinfection areas to provide good working conditions for the personnel. I would like to thank all the participants for their attention. I would like to wish all of you good health, and let's make decisions directed towards our productive bilateral cooperation. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Alexander, and lots of interesting ideas are coming. So, Adygea, Russia, Norway, it's very interesting. It's very good that we have this communication, that they are listening to each other, and that new ideas, interesting ideas, unusual ideas, and unusual solutions are appearing. And now I would like to give the floor to Rune Meti, project manager of Russian Norwegian Chamber of Commerce. Yes, please. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes, I hope so. So what I can say is that the situation is quite surrealistic. We have had it for 8 months. It's very important that for Russian Norwegian Chamber of Commerce, it's very important to see what our priorities are, and the priorities, they remain the same. They are in keeping contacts and continuing to work together. We will continue to work both in Murmansk and St. Petersburg and in Oslo. We are thinking about additional, like, how can we implement this work in cyberspace. Our B2B cooperation is cooperating in the north, and our important agreements with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they're very important for us, and the knowledge of Russia and all the seminars and courses and training programs for our members, they will continue, and our work on the development of cooperation between Norway and Russia. We are becoming very professional in using the online formats, and that is it is a positive result of the pandemic. As to the higher level and the arrangements such as Russian-Norwegian business forums, it is very important for us. This forum is held every other year. It has been planned for July next year in Oslo, and we hope that we will be able to set the dates later on. Hopefully, we will learn more about the directors' meeting in Oslo. And I would like to mention about our priorities, about so-called cluster projects. Some of you know that we are developing the program on industrial development of 13 marine companies. They are the marine cluster that are cooperating with a large number of Russian shipbuilding yards and ship owners, and with the regional authorities in the northwest of Russia and in Moscow. Probably you also know that we are working quite intensively to create new program of business cooperation in aquaculture, in fishing industries. And I can say that I'm very happy that this year we have noticed we are starting a special cluster program with the support of to support Russian aquaculture and fishing industry. And the last 6 months we have made a lot of internet products. I will not go into details, but you can find a lot of information about it on our website. For us, it's very important to discuss different kinds of issues, not only like business and commerce, but also Russian culture, music, and other things. We have gotten a lot of good feedback from our members, And as to the program agreement with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we do a lot of activities before the pandemic started. We had a lot of activities, but after March, of course, we had to think about how to implement the program in today's situation. And before the new year, we have initiated on the 28th of October, we are planning a seminar on fishing, fish production, and we are going to have extra activities there in November. We are going also to have some educational programs, and we are going to exchange business delegation to Pskov and Pskov region and to Leningrad region. But this has been suspended so far, but we are ready to continue this work on the program as soon as maybe next winter, when the situation stabilizes. As to the marine cluster and the 13 companies that I have already mentioned, this program has been implemented for 2 years, and we have had lots of seminars and meetings and technical meetings with Russian ship owners and shipbuilding yards and regional governments and federal government. But also we are providing lots of presentations and materials for the exhibitions, and the aim of this program is clear. It is systematic integration, it is renewal of fleet, research and development projects, and launch of new vessels, dock services, repairs, and funding. All this work today is revised now, and we are going to launch a new program in January. It's a pity that the situation now is like this, but what can we do? We all are in the same boat, and for Russian aquaculture, I'm happy to say that 16 Norwegian companies have signed a special program on business cooperation for 3 years.
Taken position to be
for the future initiatives and for future participating companies, for their future development. We see a lot of advantages and cooperation with the marine cluster. So the fact that Russia is planning to increase like 3 times the aquaculture production in the coming 10 years, it brings us a lot of potential, and we can help on different levels in this kind of industrial development with search for new aquacultural solutions. And we see that the demand for the fishing products will be increasing, and we see that the situation is very special now, but I should say that we are keeping optimistic, and we believe it will be very important to keep it on and to go together with the Norwegian industry. In the end, I would like to say I have actually been to Murmansk on Friday, the 13th of March. We were participating in a 5-day training program for the Norwegian companies, business in Russia, and we were thinking, some problems are starting because we saw that the borders were getting closed in Europe, and we were thinking whether we will be able to get back home to Kirkenes via Turskog. And luckily, we managed to come back home to Kirkenes, and After that, just in a few hours, the borders between Russia and Norway were closed, as many other borders. And I really hope that we will be able to meet again. And as soon as possible, after all the limitations will be removed. I understand that online meetings is all important and good, and it's what we need now. It's important to develop our competencies in this field, but we are talking about industrial marketing. It's business to business. It is physical meetings. Dear friends and colleagues, it is, I hope, to be able to see you in person as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Runemeti, and applause to you. And your optimism has helped you to survive the Friday the 13th, but also all other challenges. So we remain optimistic, and we also can't wait to have physical meetings. So now we are back to our studio in Murmansk, and I would like to give the floor to Olga Buch, the director of Project Management Centers. She will talk about the experience of cross-border cooperation and Reload 2020. So that's a very, why do we say like restart? Thank you very much. And I would like to start by thanking the organizers for giving me the opportunity to talk at the anniversary 10th day of cross-border cooperation. They are in quite an unusual format now, and it has some innovation or some challenge to the existing restrictions, but we hope that we will overcome these challenges as many other challenges that we have in our northern regions. Getting ready for today's speech, I have written down some ideas that cross-border cooperation is something that we are doomed to, in a way, that we have to cooperate, because we cannot imagine our life without cross-border projects. And there are lots of instruments, such as Arctic cross-border cooperation project, the Norwegian Barents Secretariat, Nordic Council of Ministers, and many other projects, many other instruments. So what are the directions of our cooperations? First of all, one of the directions is solution of our common challenges. What common challenges do we overcome? One of those challenges we already mentioned, that is the outflow of the young people. So why do young people leave the north? Why? Because they go to study. Why people after local universities leave the region? Because they go because they need to, because they don't have some certainty with future employment. They don't see any career tracks for their development, for their promotion on local companies. So why do like specialists who have worked and lived here for a while, why do they leave? Because they don't feel comfortable living here because of the harsh climatic conditions and so on. And what can we do about it? Together, can we offer some solutions to overcome the challenges? It should be a special prestige to study at our universities, not only for local young people, but also for young people from other regions. We should think about perspective tracks for the young specialists who go out of local universities or schools and start working in companies. It is very important that the people coming to work, that they should get some mentor, that they should get some, warm hand to warm welcome from people already working in this company. Why do I, as a business representative, why do I talk about education? Why is it so important? Because it doesn't matter which projects we have now, we plan now, it's the young people who are graduating from the universities now or will graduate from in the next 3-5 years. They will have to work in these projects. These are the future, and these are the people who will implement all the Arctic projects that we are talking about now. So what does our organization do to contribute to the development of solving this challenge. I have some examples. One of the examples of this cooperation is a Arctic project BTEC. Within this project, we try to promote technical educations. We are joining efforts with the municipalities, high schools, and companies of Norway, Finland, and Russia to motivate young people, school children, first of all, to get technical education and or to do some business and develop their entrepreneurial skills. The project activities included over 50 teachers from schools and over 50 students from the Barents region. Our target group starts from 12 years old because it's no point to start popularizing technical education starting from 16. We believe that 12 years is a very good age to start motivating school children to get technical education. Another example of our business cooperation that is also proving the necessity to develop the infrastructure of the Barents region is a large-scale infrastructure project supported by Arctic as well, is the reconstruction of the road Verkhnitolomsky-Lota. In this project, we are going to repair the road, to put barrier fences there. There we are cooperating with the Finnish partners, but we are also a part of another project. That is the reconstruction of Kauman and Kirkenes Road, where our partners are the Norwegian Road Administration and the Center for Economics and Environment of Lapland, Murmansk Avtodor, and Project Management Center. And we hope that the development of these two projects, and there is another project we are not a partner of, but the project exists and it's implemented, that's the reconstruction of border crossing point in Raya Josipe. So 3 infrastructure projects can become a basis of joint activities in the future, such as development of transport and touristic routes from Murmansk to Verkhnitolomsky, Josipi, Neiden, Inari, Zapolyarny Nikel, and back to Murmansk. So this kind of touristic route can have some special contacts, some special activities, development of infrastructure like hotels, public spaces. That would be interesting. That would be a very good perspective for future business development. And the third example I would like to mention is a project that is starting in the beginning of 2021. That is the system of Northern Lights monitoring for the tourist business. This is a very interesting project where we are planning to use the scientific potential of our research institutions, Polar Research Institute, to attract tourists to the northern regions. There will be cameras installed in Russia, Norway, Finland, and we are going to broadcast the images from these cameras on our internet homepages. So the idea is that people see them and want to come and see it with their own eyes. We understand that unfortunately in 2020 we have some serious challenges. We live and we work during the pandemic restrictions. All activities are moved online, all meetings are online. Because we are developing our activities in the region, we are continuing with the project, but business cooperation, meetings, negotiations, contacts, and conferences and forums, everything has moved to Zoom. We all sit in separate rooms with simultaneous interpretation or other kinds of interpretations, approximately as we are doing now. Partly we are in this room and our main audience is online. Of course, we understand that we save a lot of resources, a lot of funding, a lot of time and human resources, but unfortunately, something goes missing. It is like human connection that goes missing, and we really miss it. We really want to have these nice and warm meetings and discussions and business cooperation. And now we started discussing our next stage, that is psychological aspects of going back offline. because we see that there is a challenge in moving from online to offline. We have gone so deep into all this online work that it's very difficult for us to get out of the house, to get out of online. It's easier to organize a Zoom conference, to talk there, but it's important, it's challenging for us to meet offline now. So what I would like to formulate my last thought is that I believe the motto of 2021 should be the following. I would like it to be at least back to offline. So let's try to get back to offline communication. Let's try to join in some optimal way online and offline formats, because yes, it's very convenient, of course, but also let's remember about direct human communication that moves business cooperation forward. Thank you so much, Olga, and it's a great idea actually. Back to offline, I think it will be very relevant, and it will be relevant at some point. And today we are talking about this human participation, human connection, the energy that we can feel. But it's great that even in such situation we are not losing the connection, that still we are able to see and to talk to each other via internet. And now we would like to get back to Zoom, and we have Jan Solstad, coordinator of Galactic 2014-2022 program. Yes, please, the floor is yours. Hello, unfortunately, I have chosen English. Can you hear me? Yes, I have chosen English language. It's quite interesting to hear the speakers. For me, it's quite surrealistic to see people wearing masks. I will not use the mask. It's difficult enough as it is to speak in English. This Galactic program is a large program. We can talk a lot about it, but since we don't have our program manager from the European Council, I will talk on behalf of the European office. Starting from 1997, we are working in Nordland, Troms and Finnmark, and the cooperation goes, it has one border, because we always have a Russian partner in our project, and regional development is our instrument. And we should learn to cooperate. And cooperation is very useful for us. So, because cooperation had to be restored after some 100 years pause. So the program from 2014 has been delayed. For 4 years, we had 3 ordinary rounds of proposals and another micro-project round. So out of 26 projects, we have 23 with participation of Norwegian project. In 12 of them, the Norwegians are lead partners. We have a large-scale infrastructure project, and we don't have any bilateral projects between Norway and Russia. We have different areas like energy efficiency. There is Deconcrete project with Arkhangelsk University. New technologies in aquaculture, transport, and so on. So Arctic Ocean with SINTEF and Narvik, with Russian partners in Arkhangelsk, it's Pomor University, Lomonosov University, and also all the partners are participate, including European partners like Sweden or Finland. And so all of them are multilateral projects. Other projects For example, with the Alta administration, like BTEC project, they had some challenges that the Norwegian school children do not want to choose, like engineering or technical faculties, and we would like to restore it because it's a huge concern in Norway. Even the Prime Minister mentioned it. So the project includes work for students and for teachers. The students are and teachers are joining into smaller groups to get some interest to learn, to study, and also the cooperation it's cross-border cooperation, so that creates greater interest. Another project, Bridge, is where we have a special partner from Finnmark. That's the Arctic University in Alta. And there, on the one hand, this project will allow to reduce the gap between the education and work for students, and then it will allow us to develop the communities, and that will have some knowledge exchange and some platform for education. After the starting seminar in Tornio for 1 year ago, we had research in Vadsø. We had 60 participants, and the project had a lot of enthusiasm, and we expect that next year, yes, but since March the borders between the European countries are closed now, and we are developing our communication skills to be able to communicate via online format. And a few weeks back we had in Petrozavodsk, there was a Petrozavodsk meeting in Petrozavodsk, and we had some recommendations about it. Arctic Skill is the last project I would like to mention. There is a youth cooperation project with the lead partner of Professional School of Shirkinets, where they get professional skills, and also professional schools in Murmansk in Russia. So the project organizes competitions between the schools on different sides of the border. And of course the project is very vulnerable in this situation because the borders are closed. And now, so far we don't have any new applications, but we are planning new project. The Norwegian office is suggesting new information for the applicants in Norwegian. But we are expecting that we will be able to go to the multilateral projects as well. We have mutual interest with Murmansk and Northwest Russia in general. We can work on both local and regional and international level, where we have common interests. We have positive historical experience. Finnmark County is a part of Norway, is an important source of positive and good neighborship between the East and the West, as well as the Pamor trade for hundreds of years back. And such support is important, and it's hard to imagine such projects without proper funding. And if we could continue our good cooperation, we have a future. It's a future with the instruments, with the funding instruments and cooperation between people. So this is some message I would like to read from Vardø Island, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much, Jan, for an interesting presentation. I believe now It's very important to talk about this aspect, and we have our last presentation, Alexandra Sinyak, Vice Director on Environmental Information and International Cooperation of the State Natural Reserve Pacific. She will tell us about cooperation between Norway and Russia in the environmental protection. She is in Pechinga now, in Pechinga district now, in Nikel. So, Alexandra, we would like to see you. Hello, I hope you can see and hear me. Thank you very much for inviting me. We are very happy to join this meeting. Of course, it's very sad that it's held online, because in the previous 3 years the cooperation days were held in our visit center in Nikel, in the visit center to the Pacific Natural Reserve. Today I would like to talk about the international cooperation in the environmental protection. Our reserve is in the border zone of the Russian Federation. It borders to the Norwegian kingdom, and this is a specific peculiarity of our location that influences our good cooperation between nature protection organizations of Norway and Russia. From the beginning of the 90s, the Pacific Reserve cooperates with the Troms and Finnmark counties and with the Institute of Nibio Svanhov. And we sign cooperation agreements each year, and in this cooperation agreement we arrange some research work. We have also work on development of environmental information activities. And despite the situation we have this year, the cooperation has been going on. Lots of activities were moved online, but we have not lost contact with each other. We continue to exchange the information. We have done some counting of birds, some research for small rodents, and so on. And we had some also environmental information days, and so on. We had these activities online. We would like to say that another kind of important cooperation that is carried out is cooperation in the field of trilateral natural park Pacific Plenary, including special protected areas in Finland, Norway and Russia. From Russia we have Pacific Reserve there, and also we have included Natural Park Karavlek that is nearby the Pacific Natural Reserve. It's a result of our work in 2020. As to the cooperation within the trilateral park, the cooperation has been very active despite the pandemic. In 2018, we have developed an action plan where 3 countries define the most important directions of cooperation, and the cooperation has been going on. So in the coming 10 years, we are going to to expand our cooperation on all levels, and the priorities are to keep the natural and historical heritage in the area, contribute to sustainable development and sustainable development of the local economies, and welfare of the people of the 3 countries like Norway, Russia and Finland. As the previous speakers have already mentioned, one of the important instruments of cross-border cooperation is the Galactic Program, and I would like to talk about it in more details because Pacific Natural Reserve is a partner in a number of projects. Currently, we implement 2 projects in the Arctic program. One of them is the project of intercultural dialogue and multi-purpose planning on the Grens, Jakobselv and Pacific rivers. Within this project, we have the Troms and Finnmark Governor's Office and Pacific Reserve from Russia and Elo Center from Finland. The aim of the project is to develop and to support the natural conditions and water areas of Grand Jakobselv and Pacific rivers for local communities and vitality of the economies in the border areas of Norway, Finland and Russia. As a result of this work, we are going to develop a 10 years action plan where our specialists are working now. These documents will allow us to use the Pas and Vorima rivers for the good of all the people. The plan will be implemented until 2030. Another important project that is implemented by our natural reserve is the natural project. We are going to broaden the knowledge about the Arctic nature, about the uniqueness of the Arctic nature, and we are going to spread the knowledge about it to local people, tourists, school children and students, like all kinds of audiences. Within this project, we are going to build lots of places to observe nature, both in Norway, Finland and Russia, and we are going to build renew the visit centers. In our visit center, we are renewing the exposition, and in 2021, if everything goes smoothly, but we are optimistic, we are going to open a new exhibition about the nature of our region, Pacific Plenary, about the development, about international cooperation, and about the research carried out in this region. There will be a permanent exhibition, so if everything goes fine, and next year the cooperation days will be held offline, and we would like to invite you to have this meeting in our visit center and visit our new exhibition. As to the new projects that we have planned for next year, this spring we had new application round to Galactic for micro projects, and we have participated in drafting 3 projects, and we have together with our partners, we have applied for 3 projects, and all 3 applications were granted, and we are very happy about it. And during the next year, we are going to implement 3 projects. So one of the projects has already been mentioned. There is the Northern Lights monitoring system for tourism business, when the cameras will be installed and they will film the northern lights, and the picture will be broadcasted on our home pages. Such camera will be also installed in the natural reserve and in the national park in every Pacific in Norway. And it will also be broadcasted online, and you will be able to see it. Another interesting project is smart park system. There is a digital solution of the existing projects of sewage waters and solid waste with the usage of special sensors. So these sensors will create a special treatment system for the waste. All the information about the sensors will also be broadcasted to a specially created online map, and everybody will be able to monitor it and follow it up. And the third project is the project by environmental information work. There is International Environmental Volunteers School that will be held in 2021, also in our visit center. It will be a large-scale meeting of volunteers from Russia, Norway and Finland. And in this project, we will have speakers who will train the volunteers, talk how to cooperate with local communities, how to help them. And in this project, there will be an international portal for volunteers. It will be in Russian and in English. In general, in the end, I would like to say that despite the pandemic, our cooperation is going on throughout the entire period, and it will continue. But of course, we are waiting for the opportunity to meet in person, because online format will never be the substitution for personal meetings that really help to the more productive work and the creation of new cooperation and new contacts. Thank you very much for your attention and have a nice day. Thank you, Alexandra. Let's give a round of applause to Alexandra. And as we mentioned it, like previously, we used to have those days in Pechinsky district in Nikel. We visited visit center of the natural reserve. And actually, this is the end of our presentation. All the speakers have spoken. But to sum up the results of today's plenary session, that gave the start of the 10th anniversary cross-border cooperation days, I would like to rephrase two things that were said today. We all are in the same boat and back to offline. I wish us, all of us, to stay in the same boat and that this boat would be headed back. It sounds like I'd like this boat to be headed to the future, where we can meet, where we can talk, where we can do a lot of useful things, not only for today, but also for the future. And just a few words, just some information. I would like to thank the organizers. I would like to thank our technical team, who has been unseen, but who allowed us to do all the travels from Norway to Russia and from Russia to Norway and to Moscow and to all the cities. I would like to thank our fantastic interpreters, Boris and Evgeny, who also helped us not only to hear but also to understand each other. And some words to our viewers. The program of the Russian-Norwegian Cooperation Days is very intense, and I would like to draw your attention that today at 4 o'clock there will be a consulate hour where you will be able to meet the Council of Russian Federation in Shirkines Nikolai Kanygin and the Council of Norway in Russia and Murmansk Astrid Nero. So they will ask the questions from the people not only from Murmansk region but from other regions of Russia. At 5 o'clock there will be a workshop from a cafe in Nikel. He will show us how to cook foods from northern products. And the day tomorrow at 9 o'clock there will be a business dialogue with the participation of Russian and Norwegian companies. It's another important event. At 11 o'clock, international conferences starting about the safety of Arctic frontiers, environment, history and images of the future. It is organized by the Russian branch of Russian Geographic Society. At 3 o'clock, we will have a round table on cultural cooperation. Here it's organized by the Center Вторая школа in Nikel. And on Friday, there will be a Russian-Norwegian roundtable about the issues of history and protection of the Kola North, Russian North. It is what we have already spoken about, which is the ground, the basic of our friendship here in the north. It is also organized by the Murmansk branch of Russian Geographic Society, so the program is very intense. You are welcome to participate, even if it is online, and all the broadcasting is on the web page of the government of Murmansk region, on YouTube and in Vkontakte. So you can find the group for Murmansk region government and you can listen to us there and you can write your comments. And if you somehow miss the online broadcasting, the records will be also put online so you can come and see it later. I would like to thank all the participants of this unusual conference meeting, and because it's something we did for the first time, but I think it has been very successful because we did not only manage to see each other, but we also traveled to the past, and the most important is that we looked into the future. So we stay in the same boat. The boat goes to offline, and take care of yourself, take care of your family. That is the most important, is that then the offline time comes, that we are strong and healthy, and we will manage everything. Thank you very much, and goodbye.